Hey everyone, before we get started with the rest of this recording, just wanted to include this short little video for those of you that were not able to attend the live session last week, where we actually walked through the new demo storefront. Really just wanted to record this just to give you a little bit of context, and then we'll pass it over to Charlie Brensinger, our senior solution engineer, who was the lead on getting our new demo storefront updated. So really, why did we make these improvements to our demo storefront? Why do this in the first place and invest time and effort into it? There was a couple different reasons that we were really looking at here. The first one is just our old demo store lacked some of the features and functionality that we truly needed to be able to show off all of the features of talon.one, especially loyalty and some of our new features that we're going to be coming out with the remainder of this year and going into the next year. So that was one of the main real reasons for this. And with that, it gave us an opportunity to really think about what is that front end user experience? What is someone who understands the talon.one as a backend tool actually going to get to see and feel? And this was really our opportunity to spend a little bit more time on the front end and make it feel real for our prospects that are actually being shown this. And then we can actually really just showcase how customers are leveraging talon.one. What are some of the in real life, real world use cases that are being used today? How do we pull those into the demo experience? Another big reason really why we wanted to make the improvements to our demo storefront was really reduce that fear, uncertainty, and doubt of being a headless platform, but show how this could come into life. And we can really make those customizations really, really quick. It took us a while to be able to upload some of that in the past. The new demo storefront, that's going to be much more improved. And then finally, in the demo storefront, on a case-by-case basis in the past, we were able to build an integration with one of our technology partners if that's what the prospect was actually coming to us for. Now we're becoming a lot more proactive with it, and we've already started to build in that flexibility and build in some use cases with various of our tech partners across commerce, customer data platforms, customer engagement platforms, headless POS, and more. So we're really, really excited about that. Why should this actually matter to you, though? We really appreciate you taking time to listen to this recording and attending the live session for those who did last week. But really, we wanted to build something that would also be impactful for our partners. And we truly believe that seeing something live, seeing something that's tangible that you can engage with is absolutely necessary, and it actually makes you believe more in our product. And it helps both of our cases when we're co-selling into an account together that actually become more tangible for the actual prospect or customer. And this really gives us the opportunity to work with you and customize what the branding of the demo experience looks like. We can pull in the specific products that your prospect or client is actually working through. We can match the use cases up exactly. And that'll really help us jointly deliver what that true business value and ROI of talon.one is. That's really what we want to focus on with this new demo storefront. And we can really make this become something more real and bring that front end user experience so they can actually interact with it. We can have both of these side by side, which Charlie will show here in just a few minutes, where we've got the talon.one backend, the rule engine actually going, we're setting up new rules. And then on the other side, in real life, we're seeing how does this actually work for an end customer? How, as they add items to their cart, as they go through the different experiences on the web page, what is that actually pulling in from talon.one? Seeing that truly is believing, and we're really excited about that. So what are you going to see here in a couple minutes when I pass it over to Charlie? You see a couple different things, but really the high level items are what you see here. We wanted to completely change how we think about the display of this so people can actually interact with it on their mobile device. I've got my phone here. You can see that, like, when we work with our partners and are customizing a demo, and we can actually showcase that on a live call and have people pull it up via QR code, it makes a difference. So the new demo storefront is mobile first. This really is going to make things much, much better from a user experience standpoint for all of our different prospects and audiences and clients that are going to see this. We also had the idea of user personas, and we're really excited about this. We were going to have a toggle feature that allows you to select from 2 different kind of profile personas on the demo storefront, so you can see how different use cases and rule sets are actually engaged as you're going through a demo. So let's say we've got Jim, who's a gold member, and he's got a different earning rule set compared to Nancy, who's a silver member. We can toggle those in the actual demo and see what that looks like in real life, in real time. So that'll give you and our team a lot more flexibility, especially as you get into those use cases where things are going to be very segmented and personalized. And then we've got a slew of new talon.one features that we're actually pulling into the demo now. So a lot focused on loyalty, which I mentioned before. And then we're also doing SKU-based and then non-cart event items that are new to talon.one that we're pulling into the demo. So we'll be able to showcase a little bit of that. Charlie will walk through it so you can see it in real time. So we're really excited about everything we've got in the new demo storefront, but we really want to collaborate with you on it. So at the end of this presentation, we've got a slide that just basically covers, if you think about a prospect or a client that's thinking about talon.one, but we need to actually build something out, prove it out, make sure it's viable. That's what this new demo storefront and the collaboration with your team is all about. So please reach out to your specific partner manager, and we'll be happy to get you connected to Charlie and the rest of our team so we can work on this together. But for right now, I will pass it over to Charlie, and he will walk through what this actually looks like live.
Hi, I am Charlie Brensinger, and I'm going to take us through the new demo experience that we've put together. Apologies if I seem a little bit flustered right now. I'm just scrambling lots of different moving parts in the background, but I'm just going to get us started. Don't have too many slides for you today. I just want to make sure that everybody's got a chance to put a face to a name. And as Fabi mentioned earlier, and certainly on the emails and everything that's been going out for everybody signed up, we've been putting together a completely rebuilt demo store environment for more advanced demos. In the past, we've had a demo store, which we were pretty proud of, and it enabled a lot of flexibility for a variety of different demos, for us to put in different products, for us to show many different use cases. But we were starting to hit the limits. And so we rebuilt from the ground up and tried together an environment where we can collaborate with partners, even with prospects, on putting together a demo environment that truly shows off their experience. And today, I'll show you a little bit about where we came from. I'm not going to spend too long on it because it's the past, and the past should be the past, and where we're going. So you'll see what we've already done, what's already available, and I'll talk a bit about what the next steps are from here, how we're going to open this up for more of the community to get involved, etc. Like I said, not too many slides here. So first thing I wanted to do, like I said, is just pull up what the past was. I think everybody has some context here where you've seen this bike shop before, and we had the side-by-side panels so that you could see actual requests going to and from talon.one, see the data that's coming back from the system, and you can actually hook this up to any given talon.one instance. So you can make changes on the fly and see them reflected in the user experience that a customer sees. That said, this kind of stagnated. We built it quite a while ago. It was kind of a side project for the employee that first built it. It's been maintained as a side project by a couple of different employees over the ensuing months. And eventually we realized that the limitations we had just required too much context for us to keep working against. The biggest one by far was that talon.one has heavily invested recently in personal promotions, especially loyalty programs and the like, and SKU-based promotions like strikethrough pricing. And we had at best a skeleton of a framework to show any of those features in this environment. We needed a new environment that could not just showcase those, but could grow with us as we built new things. That said, the core framework makes a lot of sense. We still need a fake commerce engine so that we don't have to deal with all the rigmarole. But we still need to imply that there are products to browse, there are still items to add to a cart, and we still want to be able to communicate all of that data back and forth. So we started with that as the core design, and then we said, but it'd be really nice if this was actually handled in a modern way. And so this is actually a mobile first design. We made sure the experience is smoothest on a mobile device and then just kind of made it work in desktop. No compromises here. You have the same access as you did before, and we can still pull up all of that data when we want to show it off, but now we can show it in a simpler form factor. And for those of you who are not on ultra wide monitors like I am, you can do this side by side. You can easily have the mobile interface on one side of your screen while you have talon.one in the other, and truly flip back and forth without losing the context that you were working from. That was one of the big reasons we wanted to go mobile first. And like I said, I'm on an ultra wide, so it's hard to demo that from my perspective, but I promise you it does work quite well. I also mentioned that we wanted to be able to support some of these new functionalities. So you can already see a strike-through price has been applied to this item. We've got a little badge highlighting it, but we're also striking through the price. This is all actually handled dynamically. It's using the full end-to-end workflow, subscribing to notifications from talon.one, and getting that extra metadata applied to products. And from a loyalty perspective, we actually have a loyalty dashboard where you can look at your current balance, see tiers, see rewards. Excuse some of the messier demo background here, but actually scroll through a rewards wallet that you can redeem and use in an actual test transaction as you're progressing through. We also are working on more and more advanced features as we go through. So we have toolkits like this scan to earn. If a customer actually comes through and scans this QR code, they'll get a particular experience around that. And I'm using this very abstractly because it does depend on each individual demo what exactly that QR code is going to do. Is it something that aligns with the brand's current programs and we just want to show, hey, we can do exactly that? Sometimes. Other times it might be that we're actually trying to encourage audience participation at a webinar, and we might send out swag if people actually engage with this stuff. Spoiler, I didn't set that up here, so don't scramble too hard to do it right now. But that kind of thinking is absolutely in the wheelhouse of where we want to go with these kinds of experiences. And once again, we've got a different experience of that loyalty dashboard. We're able to show a progress bar in this case. When we start doing challenges and use cases like that, you'll be able to pop those up in their own displays and actually show what a hypothetical user experience could look like. Important caveat here, I know I'm showing, I'm going to say impressive stuff, even if some of it's a little bit demo-y. That doesn't mean talon.one is changing from a headless system. None of this UI is something that a client is going to get out of the box when they sign up with talon.one. They still have to build it all themselves. We just need to make sure that when we're talking to a client or a prospect about where talon.one could help them, they can truly visualize what it might look like. And we're trying to make sure all of our functionality is something we can show off in that way. Another limitation of the prior demo environment was that our products didn't actually have pages. So we do actually have product pages. We can extend this out for given use cases as well. So if you need to start showing messaging that might show up specifically on a product page, but not on a listing page, we have an environment where you can do that now. We're still processing this as if it's a cart, but we did simplify the process quite a bit. So if you build up your cart, you're going to get a nice little summary. You have the ability to assign coupons, referral code support, etc. But if you actually want to show the confirmation and the rest of the flow, there's no more asking for all of your address information. Just click pay and we'll go ahead and show you what's going on here. So it's a very streamlined flow as you show off more and more functionality. And like I said before, one of our key focuses was to make this a more customizable experience than the old one. So a huge initiative here internally has been that the entire SE team has been involved in this process. Several of the SEs are primary maintainers who have been working on new features, front end and back end of building this functionality out. But every one of our SEs has experience taking this code base and tweaking it for specific demos, adding a new loyalty card functionality for a specific use case. And we have a framework now where we can not only do that for a given demo, but deploy it and save that deployment as something that we can pass out to a client team and let them do their work just like before on the Megastore without having to do all of that extra pre-configuration and manually copying API keys, and setting up your deployment URLs and all that. So the actual connection to talon.one is baked into the code base and put into the deployment that turns into a URL we can just share. We're going to have some nicer ones, but you can see a direct URL for where we're at right now. We still support, from a demo perspective, going ahead and swapping through various applications. But when we're starting to do longer term proof of concepts and proof of technologies, we can bake the connection to a single deployment and prevent anybody from swapping between or seeing a list of different clients that might be out there, for example. Another feature you'll see here, this literally just launched in the past day or two, is the ability to send arbitrary events off to talon.one, so that if you have a rule listening for less transactional events, you can still see that data being sent and responses being received. So this gives us a huge amount of flexibility to really show these other use cases. And once something has been baked into a core feature like that, when you start talking to a client who has a very specific custom event need, it's pretty trivial to add something to this list for their deployment so that you get specifically the request that you've been talking about that's going to solve their needs, and you can actually show the end-to-end workflow, how it could come together. The last feature I really wanted to highlight right now is something that's been sitting here on the screen for a while. We can also quickly swap between different classes of user. So right now I'm looking at a VIP profile who has a lot of, as you saw before, a very scrollable list of different loyalty rewards available to them. But if I go to our casual user, they're not as far along. They're a bronze tier member. They only have a few rewards. One of the features coming soon is using a slightly more dynamic user ID for these circumstances, so that between demos, you can completely reset the expectation. And your casual user might be a brand new user or a bronze tier user. But if you went through during the demo and made a purchase that brought them up to silver tier, you could very easily reset so that the next time your casual user is still there. Under the hood, as I mentioned, this isn't a real commerce engine or anything like that. We're using Contentful as our product management system, which is perhaps a little bit of a unique approach, but it enabled us to do a full end-to-end sync. So items which are listed in our Contentful instance can be automatically synced into the talon.one catalog, so that when you're going and building campaigns, you have actual items that you saw on this experience synced into all of your quick selects, into your filters and whatnot. And any strike-through campaigns which target those catalog items are actually synced back into Contentful as extra metadata. And so you see the strike-through price here. We just launched a audience-based pricing component as well, so that you would be able to have a price which is visible to the VIP customer, but is not visible to the casual customer. So for example, VIP members get 10% off across the site or whatever the case might be. And we're also obviously supporting the loyalty points functionality that is available with our strike-through modeling. This is just, again, scratching the surface. The strike-through engine enables us to do pretty much any metadata. So as we come up with more and more use cases around what we might want to attach to products, other types of badges we might want to communicate, even simple stuff like what's eligible for free shipping, we'll add more use cases to the user experience as well. All of this is directly integrated into talon.one with the ability to connect specific applications and specific deployments of talon.one to any particular Vercel hosted Gigastore deployment. That means that we can generate a unique URL that is specific for effectively a branch for any given sales cycle. And that's where this collaboration really is expected to go, especially with our solutions partners. We do expect that we're going to build technology partner-based demos as well. So we'll have great experiences for how you might do a segment integrated Gigastore, how you might do a Braze integrated Gigastore, just to name a couple of examples. But we're also hopeful that in the not too distant future, we'll be working hand in hand with our solutions partners who are going out and selling to prospects and want to build their version of the vision they have for talon.one and the prospect. If the use cases that we already show off or that we build over the next few weeks as we get this more and more fleshed out don't quite meet the needs that you're thinking about for your particular scenario, we want to make that possible for you to go ahead and tweak just like our SE team would. We're still exploring exactly how that's going to look. We're not sure how far we're going in terms of open sourcing, in terms of hosting, but we want to make sure the framework is there that you can take this same concept, even if what it winds up being is you walk our team through what you need, and we're the ones who do everything and just give you a link that will work. So that's kind of the worst case scenario, and the best might be a lot more self-serve. But we're very excited about bringing you folks in, and we're also open to feedback at this point in time. We're still building out those processes. So if we know more and more clients are going to use it one way or another, we can absolutely plan around that. I've just kind of skimmed through functionality that's available here. One of the tricky parts is that we've built it in talon.one fashion quite flexibly. And so any given configuration can't really use all of the features all at once. For example, some clients build loyalty programs that are purely about the experience and gaining tiers and becoming more recognized as a higher value customer. And other clients have very transactional loyalty programs where you earn and burn points, and that's practically the only thing that happens. We have support for both of those approaches, but it's kind of tough to show both at exactly the same time. Not out of the question. It is something we're already working on for some of our demos, and so it probably will work its way into the core Gigastore experience for everybody as we figure out a workflow that's fairly smooth for all of it. But it does mean that at pretty much any given time, there's probably some choices you're making during configuration about how this prospect would best perceive the experience, how it best relates to where they are or where they want to go. And making sure your experience cleanly shows that is the priority over showing literally everything talon.one can do. At the end of the day, both talon.one and the Gigastore are just tools for improving productivity and revenue and all those bottom line metrics that we all care about so much. Building a relationship and actually bringing value to a client is what's going to get you over the hurdle. So we want to make sure these tools get out of your way and help you build that relationship the most. We're only about 15 minutes in here. We don't want to waste all of your time. So I did want to make sure I prompt everybody to ask questions, give feedback. Like I said, if you think you might use this a particular way, feel free to share that here in chat, or follow up at any point, send us an email, and we'd be happy to take that feedback in. One thing that's perhaps not obvious, since obviously we have one particular config here right now, I have 3 items in this product feed. There isn't a hard limit of how many we can show. For the vast majority of demos, somewhere between 5 and 10 is the right number to have. You don't want to overcomplicate things too much, but you can have more. And as I mentioned, this is all backed by Contentful, so it's entirely configurable. We can create new products, upload our own imagery, make this actually look like the brand that we want it to be. All right. I'm not seeing a ton of questions coming through. That's cool. This is your first exposure to this, so I'm not too surprised. Obviously, one of the core functionalities of a demo environment is going to be that integration with talon.one. So let's actually do something real quick. Fingers crossed I've got this right. Like I said, we're making so many different tweaks to the platform now. I'm going to stick with the basics and hope that I'm in the right environment to show it off. But we'll just go ahead and create a simple campaign for showing off. We'll go ahead and use a coupon. And we'll just create the webinar coupon. And I think most of you should have some familiarity with talon.one, so I'm just configuring a basic rule. We're going to make sure that coupon code is valid. We're going to discount everything in the customer's cart. Let's just do 5% for now. Keep things nice and clean. And of course, activate. The reason that I'm hedging right now is I'm only about 70% sure that this particular demo store is hooked up to this particular application. So hopefully I'm right. We'll go ahead and add some items to our cart and see if we can get that coupon code to work for us. So this was a strike-through from before, I believe. Added the webinar. We've now got 5% off per item coming through. And so more flexibility around where these discounts are actually shown, how they're presented to user. In general, just a more robust experience for highlighting how it all comes together. Again, you can actually complete this purchase, and depending on how I configured that coupon, if we go back and try to use that coupon again, I'm pretty sure I said it was 1 use per customer because that's the default. And so I'll probably get a denial here. If I did that correctly. Oops, I did not. Coupons. No, I have unlimited redemptions. I thought I had a limit per customer. Oops. My user. Huh. Oh, okay. So that's a caching error. We will fix that bug. But you can even see here, we did have the actual response I expected from talon.one, and we have that reject coupon coming through. And if it were the first time we used a coupon, maybe even if I, oh, we can see that we kind of accepted the coupon, but we didn't apply the discount attached to it here. So apparently the rejection reason that we don't have an error message for. So that's the kind of flexibility we're working around. We're finding all of these edge cases in order to build out more. And again, one of the nice things about doing demos for clients is that usually these kinds of edges are actually things they've asked about. They've run into these before. They're saying, how do I make my life better? And they might have very specific scenarios that you want to run through. We can catch those scenarios. We can actually emulate them, see the actual data flow that's going to come back. And because we can customize this experience so freely, we can make bespoke error system messaging and handling systems around each and every one to truly show off how much better their life can be when integrated with a fully featured incentive management platform like talon.one. So that's just one simple example that I'm doing here on the fly. We already have this 10% off. That's from another campaign that's active right now. So I don't even know which one, but I guess selected items at 10% discount is probably the one triggering that one. So multiple campaigns combining together. We have confidence that we're handling everything from talon.one the way a front end is meant to be handled, so long as we're handling it all. Of course, we have some more extensions to add in here, as you just saw. But what that means is that if a budget is applied by talon.one, we know that we can show the end user experience of that budget being applied. If prioritization is managed through our campaign evaluation rules in talon.one, we know it's going to be reflected in that demo. So you can use the full functionality of the platform and trust that there's a user experience for you. And of course, again, we're constantly expanding on both sides here. So if something new is coming out that doesn't quite handle it yet, either you can build it for yourself, if we've gotten open enough to do it by that point, or you can reach out to us and we're going to work with you and collaborate with you on making this demo work for our hopefully mutual customer. So if we need to make tweaks to make sure we're covering exactly the feature set that the client needs to see in the way they need to see it, we're all ears. That brings us pretty much to the half hour. I'm not going to sit here and show every single thing under the sun. Hopefully, this gives you a good idea of how this all comes together. So I'm just going to wrap up with a couple minutes here for any possible straggling questions to come through. And mostly a big thank you for coming along, watching on the video, recording that we're going to send out later, and hopefully working together with us on making stellar demos for our clients in the future. So I got one question coming through from Anonymous. Thanks, Anonymous. Is it possible to use this to demo to clients, and how? We already have internally, so it's definitely possible. As for partners specifically, we do have a couple of generic instances that are available that we can just immediately share out, but we want this to be more collaborative. So ideally, reach out to us. We can get you one of those links up and running, but we can also consult with you on what exactly it is you want to highlight for your client and make sure that we've got, even at the simplest level, a product catalog, a couple of colors that kind of reflect that brand. and make it feel a little bit more at home for that client when they see it. So again, in the immediate term, route that through the partnerships team, or if you're working directly with any of the sales engineers at talon.one with the sales engineer that you're working with, and we will definitely figure it out and make sure that we get, in the end, simply a URL you can access that is hooked up to either your sandbox or a dedicated demo instance for that client, so that you can go end to end and show both sides. All right. I'll hang out here for a little bit longer in case there's any straggling questions, but beyond that, I'd like to return some time to your days. This is exciting stuff. It's fast moving stuff. So when we scheduled this webinar, maybe a third of the functionality I showed you in the demo store today, and half the functionality I didn't show you in the demo store today was not already there. That will slow down by the end of the year, but between here and the end of the year, there will be more and more features and more robustness being built in. And again, we're working on processes to make this more and more streamlined for our partners to self-serve. If you have any opinions as to how that might look, we're all ears, so please do let us know.